Hi there. Welcome back to another episode of MacGyver's Workshop, where today we're working on our walk-in shower and getting the tile up on the wall. And I've been posting here lately mainly pictures to Facebook, so it's been a couple of weeks since I posted any video, so let me show you what I got done so far. And we'll take the camera over here. I don't have a really super wide angle lens, so I'll have to pan everything for you. But we got this one wall here, down to the first course there. We're gonna just leave that till last. And then we're making our way around here, and I've got to a point where I've got to do some cuts on the tile, so I'm gonna have to cut a hole for this in a piece of tile, and this, and then ultimately that. Okay, so we're going to cut the hole for that little piece of pipe that's sticking out of the wall for the little handheld shower bit. And to do that, you use it's called a diamond hole saw. So usually a hole saw will have a drill bit in the middle, that starts your hole, and then the hole saw goes down through. Well, when you're cutting tile, it doesn't really work that way, because you have to keep the tile cool and use water. So if you remember when I was using the tile saw to make my tile cuts, it circulates water around to where the blade cuts the tile. So what they do in a situation like this is you get one of these, and it uses a guide so that wherever your hole's going to be, it's got some double-sided sticky here, and it just makes like a little bowl and a guide for your saw, for your drill. And then you just pour a little water in there, and that keeps your tile cool while you're cutting it. So that's the center point of where we have to drill our hole. That's going to be a bit of a challenge here with a compass on a piece of porcelain tile, but we'll have to just manage here. So. Okay, so now that we know where our hole has to go, we roughly have our hole drawn there, and that was a bit of a challenge because the compass point doesn't stick very well on a porcelain tile, but we have a pretty good idea of where we're going to be, just like that. So now what we do is we take our guide and we peel our little sticky off here. And we line it up like so, which is a bit of a challenge. Fortunately, it's got enough wiggle room. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Make sure that's clean and dry. And you peel the other side of your sticky off there. And then you line it up over your hole. And like so. And you fill it halfway with water, and then you start drilling. So, go get some water and we'll get started. Okay, so I have my diamond hole saw chucked up in my heavy duty drill here, and I imagine you could use a battery powered drill. I have one, but I'm just going to use this one. Now you'll see I've got this half full of water, and since once I get through with my cut, all that water is going to come out the bottom, so I have it sitting on a towel here. And then basically all we do is start drilling, and the water is actually more to keep the tile from heating up and cracking. So I imagine you could use a diamond drill dry, but you know, they always recommend that you use some sort of coolant. So there we go, we're through. As I lift this up, of course all the water will go down into the towel there. And then we got our little puck right there. All nice and pretty, how about that? And then we just peel this off. And of course, that's why they give you a bunch of little gasket things so you can reuse it. So we'll just get into there like so, and gradually work it out of there. And be careful not to scratch your towel.
It's really adhesive there.
Yeah, but it comes off pretty well. And then you can just peel it off like that, so.
Pretty hole.
Yeah. Remember back in the day trying to use a tile nipper, you'd always put your pipes in the corner where 4 tiles come together so you could nip the tiles off of each corner. But yeah, these diamond hole saws or diamond blades were the best thing since sliced bread. Now I just hope and pray that I put the hole in the right place. Okay, so we'll show you this one here, how it fits. And then I guess we'll go ahead and grab these fellas and put them in like so. That always scares me when I do that. That's just, like I said, we're not gluing these in, we're just laying them up so you can see how they go. And this one's going to be a bit of a challenge because we're going to have to do this a little differently because we don't have a hole saw that big. So, but I have my measurements and we will be marking them out here. There's from the bottom to here and here, and then here and here. So what I do is we make a box and then put a circle in it, and then I'll have to use my angle grinder and use diamond cutting wheel, and then just kind of gradually work our way around. So that's going to be a bit time consuming. Of course, this cut looks kind of ugly because we had to do it with a cutoff wheel, but that's okay.
Because your big thing's gonna.
Yeah. And there you go. So all those came out pretty good. So I'm happy with that.
You got it?
Mm-hmm, I got it. So we want to get all this stuff out of the way before we mix that mud up, because that mud, once you start working with it, it's only a matter of time before it starts setting up. So I'm not real crazy about dealing with it when it starts to set up. There we go. It's always got to be difficult, but that's okay.
So next is our box.
Next, we're going to cut our tile pieces to go inside here. Once we get this is just a random piece, but we'll cut all our pieces to go in the backside and around the perimeter. And then we have these little bullnose pieces here, which are hideously expensive, by the way. It's $2 a piece for these things. But that makes a nice pretty edge around your, around the little shampoo box here. Okay, now when we go to mix our thin set, I mix a half a bag at a time, because I've noticed when I mix a full bag, I guess because I'm too slow, it'll start setting up when I get to the end of the bag. Plus, it's just a bit unwieldy to work with when you have it in the bucket. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mix a half bag, and it's supposedly a 50-pound bag, and the amount of water that you put in there, they say, is critical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh this bag, because they're never going to be exact. So we'll see what we've got here. All right, 50.6, so roughly 50 and a half. So we'll do 25 and a quarter, and 25 and a quarter will be half a bag. Now, they say use 6 quarts of water for a full bag, so we're going to do 3 quarts for a half bag. You have to put your water in first, they say. And I'm just going to put a little tiny smidge, since we're a little over 50 pounds. So, then we'll cut the bag open here, and we'll bump it out until we get to 25 and a quarter showing on the scale. You get your water in first, then you add your thin set. And the bag, the instructions say mix it for 5 minutes, let it set for 10, and then mix for 2 more. See. 4 pounds or so. 57. Where's this one? Good. 25th. Now, you have to make sure you use a good heavy-duty drill, big 1/2 inch, 3/8 ain't gonna cut it, and make sure you have a mixer that's designed for thin set, not drywall. Drywall is not strong enough and it'll just twist. So, we'll mark our time. And we'll mix for 5 minutes.
All right.
Boy, this will give you a workout, trust me. Of course, you always want to clean the mixer off right away. Always keep your tools clean. Because this stuff, it's basically, it's polymer modified, so it's got all kind of chemicals in it that make it real gluey and sticky. And I think in one of my Facebook pictures or whatever, I labeled it as like cement and glue-zilla. And that's exactly what this stuff is. You figure it's designed to hold a 12 by 24 inch piece of tile vertically on the wall and stick to it. So now my lovely timekeeper, Miss Tammy here, we'll let it sit for 10 minutes. I guess that gives the chemicals a chance to, you know, it's kind of like letting a steak rest after you cook it, right? Mm-hmm. But then we'll mix it for another 2 minutes and then we can use it. So. Whew. So what they don't tell you when it comes to tiling is what a royal pain in the butt something like that box is. Having to cut all the little bitty pieces and, you know, do all the 45s and those little bits and bobs on the bull nose and all that. And I'm sure maybe they've got some kind of magical formula that they use to, you know, place the box just right so that you don't have to cut any weird pieces or anything. But, you know, we spent a good part of the afternoon just working around this box.
And these holes.
Where the shampoo goes. Well, yeah, and the holes, obviously, that was a bit of a trick too.
One hole left, right?
Yeah, just that one up there for the shower.
Okay.
But yeah, this here was a big challenge. All right, so I'm going to call it a day. And I would not have ever thought for a moment that tiling in around that little box would take so long, but it did. And of course, with that though, between that and having to cut that hole and this one and get it measured out, that was a bit of took a little bit of extra time. And then to try and notch these two pieces of tile here, that was a bit time consuming, but we got it done. And we'll have, you know, pretty smooth sailing going from here, because that's all the hard stuff pretty much. So we got that one hole up there, but that's not going to be too terrible. So, and then of course we'll have that wall there. That should be pretty straightforward. Nothing too complicated with that, hopefully. And then I decided to go ahead and we'll finish this wall out here, and then we'll finish this one out. I got a couple of rows done there to burn up some mud yesterday, but other than that, that's it for me today. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.